Shirojiri City is where wine is produced. This is Kaoru Ueno. She enjoys doing the farming chores every day. It is hard to believe that she was diagnosed with severe depression 4 years ago. Kaoru was a happy woman who loved to sing. She was viewed as a person who had boundless energy. She met her husband, a bank officer, in a chorus.
We met each other in the Matsumoto Philharmonic Chorus.
They were happily married for 10 years, but her father-in-law suddenly died and she had to take over the management of his vineyard.
Looking back, I was just playing the role of a good wife in a traditional farming family.
I pretended to be an industrious wife taking care of her mother-in-law, but in reality I didn't enjoy working. I just did what I was expected to do. Yes, I was wearing a mask. She worked hard raising her children and did the farm chores by often asking the neighbors if she didn't know what to do. But one day, she felt something unusual.
It took me over 20 minutes to cook fried noodles, which was a very long time. Arranging flowers totally confused me. People around me helped, but I could not do anything. In my head, I knew I just had to put the flowers in a vase with water, but even this was beyond my capacity. I was completely lost. I didn't know how to escape from that situation. In 2013, she was diagnosed with severe depression and was hospitalized. The hospital was full of other sick people, and so there was a negative environment. At first, I was relieved to be in a safe place. But as I gradually recovered sanity a bit, I started to wonder, am I going to stay here for the rest of my life? I'm pretending to be a person completely different from the real me, and it feels strange. Here is a notebook that she used to record her thoughts and encounters about that time. When I was hospitalized, I was unable to write letters. But a little later, I improved slightly and started writing down my thoughts and feelings. This was my attempt to understand exactly who I was. But I was unable to locate my feelings. If I was able to identify my feelings, I think I could have identified my pain and sadness, but this was not even possible. I had no idea what to do with my situation. I was totally hopeless. I wondered, what is my life for? And do I really determine my life by myself? Then someone said to me, you can get out of your situation because it is a situation of your own making. All you need is the courage to take a step. She made a great effort to go back home. But it was, in fact, the beginning of her true hardships. I vacillated between two thoughts. One is that I was responsible for my family. The other is that if I took too much on, I would collapse from the weight of the responsibilities and ruin my whole life. It was at that time that an old friend of mine reached out to me with a suggestion. She recommended a Miross seminar, saying that it would do me good. Mrs. Makiko Kato was the lecturer at the seminar. I made up my mind to attend it, and for the first time in a long time, I drove my car to the venue. I was terrified, but eventually made it. During the lecture, a thought struck me. Oh, I determined everything by myself. Then I suddenly felt my depression lifted instantly. I felt a huge burden lifted from my back. I voiced my thoughts, saying, my burden disappeared. I knew my depression was gone. It was surreal. All the people there were surprised when she shared her strange experience. saying that her burden had been lifted. It was only her first seminar. This surprised her, and she became even more interested in the Miross system. The more she progressed in the Miross curriculum, the calmer and happier she became. And she finally discovered the cause of her depression. I wanted the approval of others, which would have justified my existence. But this is living based on the standards of other people. For example, I showed how responsible I was by working hard managing the vineyard and taking care of my mother-in-law. By doing that, I wanted to win their approval. But it was exhausting because this wasn't my true self. Once I understood this, I could see that I had inherited my behavior from my parents. I was originally a carefree person. But after experiencing two polarities of ups and downs because of the depression, I understood that the Miross system was the formula to merge the two polarities. I may encounter more situations where I will be overwhelmed, confused, or troubled, but I know how to apply Miross to these difficult situations. And so I'm no longer worried about my ability to handle what life throws at me. Miross made it possible for me to recognize my true feelings without being scared. In my whole life, I have avoided focusing on my true feelings and pretended to be cheerful so that I would not have to deal with these feelings. This made me susceptible to depression, which eventually caused me to be hospitalized. Now I can address my true feelings without fear of being overwhelmed by them.
Of course, all of us were very worried about her, but we are so relieved that she has recovered from her depression. We are happy to be blessed with a Miross system, and I think we now can pass our true feelings on to the next generation.